Welcome back. This is Goku's son DBZ, and today I'm doing a new best to worst list. This is the best to worst Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, or MCU movies. Now, one of the movies I actually only have digital, not physical. But I'll mention that next since that's number 19. First, keep in mind these are my own personal opinions of how they're ranked. With that said, coming in at number 20 of the 20 MCU movies, hard to believe, is Iron Man 2. In my opinion, is the weakest Iron Man film and the weakest MCU movie by far. Great soundtrack, but that doesn't redeem for the poor script writing and overall performance in the movie. Unfortunately, overall, it was just not a well-constructed film, I feel, overall. Coming in at number 19, I'm going to mention, since I don't have physical, is The Incredible Hulk. Of course, featuring Edward Norton. Coming in at next, at number 18, the debut of Captain America. In 18th spot is Captain America, the First Avenger. And yes, I know I'm filming this a little different than show my face normally. I just thought I'd try this out instead, see how it goes. Plus, since I have physical pretty much in most of the movies. With that said, next coming in at number 17 is the second of the Thor trilogy, Thor: The Dark World. Yes, I feel this is by far the weakest of the Thor films, though I still enjoyed it, obviously, given it's above 3 other films. Coming in at number 16 is AntMan and the Wasp. Of course, the most recent MCU movie to be released. It may change ranks over the next couple of years, hard to say, but as of right now, this is where it's ranked. I still feel overall it's a better film from the other ones. But with that said, I still feel overall, though, I have mixed feelings on the main villain and other elements to the film, which is why it doesn't get any higher. Next, at number 15, is, of course, the third installment to the Iron Man trilogy, Iron Man 3. Now, yes, I have this higher than quite a few people probably would have on the list. But out of 20 movies, 15, it's still not necessarily that bad. Plus, still, quite a few films above it. But yeah, I still enjoyed this film for what it was, and I didn't mind it mainly revolved on Tony Stark. Coming in at number 14, it's Marvel's The Avengers. I know most people would probably have this easily in their top 10, maybe even top 5. I just feel there's quite a few better films. Plus, there were parts I felt weren't paced as well in Marvel's The Avengers, like that 20-minute scene trying to repair the engine on the SHIELD carrier. There are just a few things here and there, and I feel Loki is kind of overrated, in all honesty. But with that said, coming in at number 13, I know some people will definitely disagree with me on, and that's fine, but to each their own. Coming in at number 13th place for me is Black Panther. Now, I enjoyed this film quite a bit. I do have a few issues here and there with some elements, and for MCU movie, I will say some of the CG fight scenes were not up to par, I feel, of other MCU films. I will say, in my opinion, I didn't like some of the supporting characters as much in this film. I will say, however, in my opinion, the strongest element to Black Panther was Michael B. Jordan's performance. I thought by far he outshined everyone else in the film. He's definitely the best part of Black Panther, in my opinion. But I know there's a lot of people out there that probably feel this is a lot higher on their list, but this is where it gets on my list, 13th place. Coming in at number 12 is the original AntMan film, which I feel by far is a really good film, honestly. It's a great heist film. And I recommend more people, if they haven't seen AntMan, I do recommend definitely checking out this film. I feel that Michael Penn, or rather, Michael Douglas as Michael Penn, was great and one of the best parts of the film. I definitely enjoyed Michael Douglas's part in this film. And many of the others in the film as well. And I actually like the villain, Yellow Jacket. Unlike some people. Coming in at number 11 is the original Thor. I have this higher than probably a lot of people, but I really enjoyed the more Shakespearean style elements of the original Thor, and I loved how they were able to bring to life like Asgard and just a lot of the elements, plus also the other realms. Getting to see the ice world. I mean, I just, as a fan of mythology in general, maybe it's why I'm a little more biased to have Thor a lot higher than most people, just because of my love of mythology and religious studies. But with that said, Thor is top of runner-up to the top 10. Coming in at number 10, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I love Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, but I don't feel it comes nearly as good as the original. But still, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, I feel is still a lot better than a lot of other films, and I really enjoyed the antagonist, Ego. I felt he was really great, and I definitely loved also, at all the work and stuff, I definitely, though, enjoyed Kurt Russell as Ego. He was definitely very enjoyable. But with that said, still great film indeed. And I enjoyed a lot of the more, learning a little bit more between, of course, Nebula and Gamora. I definitely like it to see more element of like the sister bond of sorts and the rivalry and stuff elements in the film. There's just a lot of strengths in Volume 2. Coming in at number 9 is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. An incredible, well-paced film. I think that's one of the best parts of the film. I think it's one of the best well-paced MCU movies, hands down. And I love the whole spy thriller element of the film. It's definitely quite enjoyable. And, yeah. Still, I do feel there is definitely films above it, obviously. But I definitely will say it's definitely a very enjoyable film. And I've actually have it ranked a little bit higher than where it used to be. It's actually gone up a couple of spots. It might go up more in the future. It's hard to say. Coming at number 8 is, of course, the debut solo film of Spider-Man into the MCU. And coming at number 8 is SpiderMan Homecoming. And one of the reasons this film gets so high up on the list, even though I really like Tom Holland as Spider-Man, he's good. Not as good as Andrew Garfield, but still very good. But what really got it into the top 10 for me was, in my opinion, the one who stole the entire film. And that being, of course, Michael Keaton as the Vulture. I felt he stole the movie. He was best part, hands down, of SpiderMan Homecoming was the villain. Vulture was just awesome. Next up, coming at number 7, much higher than most people I'm sure would have this film, and that is coming at number 7 for me personally is Avengers Age of Ultron. And I know quite a few people would definitely not have this up this high, but for me personally, the more I watch it, the more I like it, and Ultron is easily in my top 3 favorite MCU villains, hands down. But with that said, and yeah, I just love the whole back and forth quips and banter between Tony Stark and Ultron. I just very much enjoyed those elements of the film. And also the fight scene between Hulk and Hulkbuster didn't hurt either. Coming in at number 6 is Thor Ragnarok. Honestly, I am surprised how high this film is on my list, but I really like this film. The comedy in this film is superb. Not to mention, the film has given easily, probably in my opinion, one of the 5 best MCU villains. That being it, of course, Thor's sister. I just really enjoyed Kate Blanchett in the villain role. She was just awesome in the film. And I love her design of Hela. But with that said, now coming into the top 5 is the third of the 3 Captain America movies, Captain America Civil War. In my opinion, is easily the best Captain America movie, hands down, no competition. Now, coming on at number 4. Very controversial pick for probably a lot of people, but yeah, coming at number 4 for me is Doctor Strange. And the thing that does it for me, Benedict Cumberbatch just kills it in the role of Doctor Strange. And get to see the more mystical art side of the MCU. I love the fact also that he did the voice of Dormammu. Dormammu is one of my all-time favorite MCU villains. Well, not MCU villains, but Marvel comic book villains. I love Dormammu, and I love the main villain in this film. I actually feel he's a very underrated villain in my opinion. I just love the work in the film. And I loved also the development of Mordo in this film also. Starting out, and you can see how he ends up going down a darker path towards the end of the film. And it makes a lot of sense when you look, he was always by the book type of person. And I just love that, and the other elements. And I just feel Cumberbatch kills it as Doctor Strange. But with that said, coming in at number 3, one of the most recent films. Coming at number 3 is Avengers Infinity War. In my opinion, easily the greatest Avengers movie, and of course was my number 1 favorite movie of last year. And comes in, is currently ranked my number 3 favorite MCU movie of all time. May change your rank, may go higher, hard to say. But as of right now, Infinity War comes in at number 3. Coming in at number 2. Really the start of it all, the original Iron Man. This film, in all the years, has really not dropped from at least the number 2 slot. It was number 1 up until 2014, but it has held the number 2 spot for 4 years. Not bad at all. And coming in at number 1, of course, no surprise to anyone, my number one favorite MCU movie of all time and my number one favorite comic book movie of all time is the original Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, what can I say about the original Guardians of the Galaxy? Giving a score of 1 to 10, I have to give, of course, the film a 10 out of 10. Just an incredible, fun film. The music, the soundtrack to the film is insane. In general, it's just a fun movie. A movie which I have now watched 18 times, which is insane. And I still love the movie just as much every time I watch it. But anyways, and that's running off, in my opinion, the best to worst Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. Tell me, in your opinion, what do you feel is the best MCU movie of all time? And I'll get ready to cut this video, and I'll see everyone next time. Same YouTube time, same YouTube channel.